Hi, my name is Jeff Gordon, and I'm a member of DUC Stewardship Committee. Today I'm meeting with Kim Crowell, who represents DUC on the Cape Cod Council of Churches. Hi, Kim.
Hi.
So let's start with where you grew up.
I grew up in Cobb, Connecticut, which is in the southwestern corner of the state, and lived there all my youth.
What was your first experience with the church?
My first experience predates my memory bank, which was when I was baptized at the Plymouth Church in Brooklyn, New York. But my youth, I went to the First Presbyterian Church in Greenwich, Connecticut.
So how long have you lived on the Cape?
I moved here in 1998 when Brad and I got engaged. I had been living in the Boston area, and Brad and I actually met on St. Croix, but he, of course, grew up here on the Cape. And it became clear as we got engaged and wanted to start a family that we would move to the Cape.
What brought you to DUC?
I think everybody expects that a bonus and benefit of getting married into the Crowell family is becoming a member of DUC. But in fact, actually, yes, of course, that's how I was introduced to the church. But I just started attending and knew that it was the right place for me, independent of the family.
So you visited first and then sort of decided this was the place for you?
Yes, absolutely.
That's sort of what happens to a lot of people. I think.
Yeah.
So how long have you actually been a member?
Oh, within the year of me moving to the Cape, so a little over 20 years now.
Can you sort of share with us what your experience has been on the Cape Cod Council of Churches and what it means to the church?
Sure. So there are councils of churches throughout the country, and most of them, as one might imagine, have membership of multiple churches, and they come together to promote spirituality and the faith community. Some of them will have a pantry or a thrift shop, but what's unusual about the Cape Cod Council of Churches is that it actually is not only based on a membership of about 40 congregations throughout the Cape, but also it is a fully functioning nonprofit organization on its own right, and so it runs 6 different programs or ministries, and I have the good fortune of being on the board of directors with the council.
So how long have you been a member and how long have you been a board member?
A couple of years. Yep, and I should explain that there's, while I'm there on the board and therefore obviously am able to bring back insights to DUC and inform the congregation of new things that are going on or how we've adapted through the pandemic, all of those. There's a separate function for each of the member churches, which is a delegate, and there are 1 or 2 people per congregation which are invited to be delegates for the council, and those delegates will attend the annual assembly, which we just had actually a few weeks ago, once per year in the September timeframe. And it's the delegates who vote on the upcoming fiscal year budget, the board of directors, slate, all of that. So.
I've also been told that you've actually work at the Hands of Hope food pantry.
I do.
Yeah. So what's that like?
So I mentioned the programs, the 6 programs that Council of Churches has, and they have a baby center, faith family kitchen, Hands of Hope pantry and thrift shop, the hospital chaplaincy, homeless ministries and Youth Street Reach, and Covenant to Care, and the Fostering a Dream Fund. So I've been volunteering at the Hands of Hope pantry since the pandemic started. We were trying to make it such that some of the volunteers who are, for health reasons, at greater risk were able to pull back a little bit from their volunteer times. And point of fact, it's been a gift to me that I've had more opportunity to volunteer at the pantry. I've been blessed enough through my life. I personally have not had to avail myself of services of a pantry, so I didn't really know exactly what to expect in terms of quality and quantity of food that the pantry makes available for its clients. So that was one of the most wonderful things as I walked in to become acquainted with Hands of Hope. The quantity, for its small space, the quantity is fantastic. The quality is also really quite wonderful. The produce often is better than what I'm getting at the grocery store. So I'm very, very proud of what the Council of Churches is able to make available for their clients. And so I volunteer on Mondays and am able to work with whichever clients come on Monday to get both food and household cleaning and paper goods. The pantry also has financial resources available for its clients who are needing some spot coverage for rent or utilities and things like that.
And that sounds wonderful. Okay, last couple of questions. They're not the kind of try to put you on the spot, to just sort of to get you to think a bit. So, in a relatively few words, can you share what's your favorite thing about this church? It's hard to put it into words.
I cannot put it in a relatively few number of words. but I love the question, and I love when other people ask me about that because there isn't one thing. And so the first thing that always comes to my mind, and I have 3 kids who are now ages 15 to 20. They've all grown up in the church, so I say this with a lot of experience. I love the intergenerational nature of DUC. It has been, whether it's in service, during the Sunday service, or at fellowship, or in the youth activities, at the auction, anything, there always is a range of ages. And it has absolutely helped my kids be really comfortable with talking with and interacting with people of all ages. And I just love that that's fluid and normal here, that's everybody has a chance to interact with every age. Second thing that I would say is the sermons. And that is something that I've been to plenty of churches in my adulthood where I have not left feeling inspired or been given something to think about in the days and weeks to come. But at DUC, I have experienced that. And Nancy does a wonderful job. And she seems to have this knack for whatever is going on in my life. And I know I'm not the only member in the congregation, so she must be doing this for everyone else. But whatever she's speaking about seems to connect with something that's going on in my life. We also, and I've been amazed by this, in our congregation have so many retired ministers. And I love hearing their different voices, their different styles, their different approaches when they happen to come in as a guest sermon or such. And so I think we're very fortunate, but I think that also says something about the allure of being part of the congregation here, is that if we have that many retired pastors wanting to be here, it says something about what DUC offers. The music, unquestionably, Maggie and Betty Ann have done amazing things for music here, ranging from giving a platform for young singers or instrumentalists all the way up to the men's group, the women's group, the chancel choir, the bells. It's really wonderful and inspiring on the music side. And lastly, I would say, and this ties in actually to a lot of the work that I've seen at the Council of Churches, the congregation and its generosity. And yes, it's a generous congregation in terms of finances, and when it's not just stewardship in the annual budget, as a lot of people think about, just making it such that the church can continue functioning in the form that it's accustomed to. But whenever there's a call or a need, the congregation rises to it, and it's tremendous. And the generosity of spirit is, I haven't found it elsewhere. It may well be existing elsewhere, but it's so, it's inspirational to see how many people, I mentioned the 6 different programs at the council. Aside from hospital chaplaincy, there are people in the congregation that volunteer at every one of those programs. And missions has been great at also contributing to each one of those programs. So for all of those reasons, I love DUC. And it's hard for me to stop talking about it.
I should probably not. So you've actually led me into my last question, which has to do with, if you could, there's not that many people, I guess, but if you can inspire others to become more involved in DUC, not just in the church, but in the greater community, sure. What would you have them do?
So When I first started coming with the young family, one of the things that became immediately great for Brad and me, of course, is the Sunday school, the crib room and the Sunday school. And honestly, because we availed ourselves so much of Cindy's great Christian ed programs, I felt like I should be giving back at that point. But to be honest, as a young parent, my Sunday morning to be able to sit in this pew and recenter myself was really important. So I kept saying, I will be a part of Sunday school later. And so that's something I would put out to anybody of any age, is really, Cindy does a great job with the Sunday school program, and it's neat to see the kids just totally jumping into learning and experiencing and the joy that they have. So that's one area. But there are so many different committees, right? And I've been on Christian Ed, Missions, Deacons, and soon to be the Memorial Scholarship. It really depends on what kind of time availability people have and what they're interested in, because there's something for everyone. There's the Flower Committee and Social Concerns and Trustees and Finance and so many different opportunities, and many auction. There's so many things that might even not be something that requires time throughout the year. Depends on what people are interested in. But I do hope that with the pandemic abating at some point, we have more opportunities for adult education classes and things like that. I really hope at some point we get to do another mission trip somewhere. So there's so many different ways that people can get involved. And just talk to people on Sunday.
Yeah.
And get to know more people, because they're all involved in something.
It seems like it, yes. Well, that was great. I really appreciate your time. So thank you very much, Kim.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Thank you.